Hello, everyone. It is November 19th, 2025. It's almost Thanksgiving. We are going to do another episode of the Roper Report. We have balloons because we're just so excited. Um, we're going to start with market commentary and then we will do subscriber questions. I think we'll probably talk about a lot of things that I don't know. Dad, go ahead and just start. I have nothing to say tonight.
All right. Um, it's been a spine chiller week. I actually heard the guy on TV with all the colorful clothes. He's like, it's a white knuckle ride. And it absolutely has been a spine chiller. Um, Look, this is kind of what separates long-term winners from losers. Um, I've said a special communique out a week ago, and I said, live to fight another day. Coming into today, I had minimal hedges on. And what I did was I drew kind of a line in the sand and I hedged off. I shorted calls on about a third of my positions and I put bear put spreads uh, on like another third. So I went naked long into tonight's report from NVIDIA. And I'm sitting here going, well, if I didn't have any hedges on, I'd have possibly one of the better days tomorrow. But the reality is this. My smart daughter said, Dad, what if it would have gone the other way and you were unhedged and you had the worst day of your career? And as I've aged, I'm not the cowboy I used to be. Um, I'm really glad I have the bear put spreads, though they should go to zero. Now, here's another thing. This is really important. We are not out of the woods. Friday close, VIX down below 17. We're very close to out of the woods, but we're not there yet. Uh, Jensen could fire up some whacked out comment. If Trump jumps on the conference call, who knows where the hell it's going to open. But uh, in general, it was one of the best quarters in a magic elixir stock. By the way, NVIDIA is the greatest stock ever in history. There's never been a stock like it. There's never been NVIDIA is the most liquid stock in the world, throwing down whopper quarters. There's never been anything like it. And I honestly, I don't know if there ever will be again. I mean, there's never been a concept like AI unleashed that got traction. There's never been anything like it. It's bigger than the internet. But I have to tell you, I texted a bunch of hedge fund managers this morning and I said, I think yesterday's close was a max fear moment. And Sarah, can you pull up those two charts I texted you?
Of
And just
course I can.
thank
Which
you.
one do you want? Or do you want them both?
Both of them.
Okay.
The public has lost their mind. Sarah's going to show you fear and greed for both the general market and for crypto. And these numbers are they're off the rails. As soon as you see them, you're gonna I got to allow multiple presenters.
Okay.
Boom! Look at that. Okay, that's that's 9 out of 100. 91% of the people are in extreme fear. And the NASDAQ is 5% off all-time highs. Can you show the next one, love?
Of course I can.
Bitcoin is registering what I would call near bear market low fear. The public has collectively lost their shit. Baby, back to just us.
Okay.
Um, so I think we had a max fear moment. And I'll tell you this right now. I am going to have to cover my shorts, my hedges, and I'm certainly okay with the fear and greed numbers that we're seeing. I am not the only person living, trading to live another day. There's going to be massive short covering tomorrow. Now, the whole thing is this: the VIX, although it's going to plunge, the market makers know. The market makers know who what the short positions are. So I don't think they're going to let the air out of these things. Be
Wait, what
very
does that mean?
well, the premium, even though the VIX is going to pop, assuming we open anywhere near around where we're at, the VIX is going to plunge, which means the fear premium should come out of options. But I think they're going to hold them up a little bit because the market makers know there's a lot of short covering coming.
Okay, and then I have another question. Just because everything is great at this very moment in time, does that mean that everything is going to continue to be all great?
No, no.
Okay, that was what I wanted to ask you.
So I was coming into tonight's number. I was talking to the captain and I said, I'm not sure because the damage is so significant. Now, again, it's a relative. I feel that there's a lot of rebasing that needs to occur. I do not expect these stocks to go shooting straight back up. Not only that, I am not going to be in a massive hurry to unwind. If, first of all, I have like 18,000 things to say. This number is going to, if the market holds, is going to cause a stampede. And it's going to be caused by 82% of money managers underperforming. And there's $7.4 trillion in money market. And these guys are not getting the Christmas bonus. Okay? Yes, honey.
Have you, throughout the last like week, have you sold anything?
I did
Or
blow out half of my Bitcoin ETF in my equity fund, and I max hedged that thing. But I felt that fear got too goofy, and I unwound the hedge today. It's the one thing I went naked long in, like purely 100%. Well, again, the position's only about half. It's exactly half of what it was. But I, okay, so I want to go through a few things. First of all, I think the market is shifted from the guys who are building out AI to the beneficiaries of AI. And the number, I said this a year or two ago, but I couldn't see it happening. Biotechnology, pharmacology, okay, they're different. Pharmacology is not biotechnology, but drug companies are the whopping. I thought they were the biggest beneficiaries a year or two ago, but it didn't start to show up. Now it's getting traction. And here's why. I read a research report. It said AI is already compressing time to discover a new drug or therapy from 10 to 15 years, crushing it down 70 to 90%. That's time. It's cheaper, wildly cheaper to uh, discover, and the success rate is wildly higher. So the market was completely driving into the hardware, the connectivity, the all that. And then CoreWeave came out and said there's a bottleneck and they cut their capex. And that accelerated a lot of this decline that we've recently seen, which has not been the Nasdaq's only down like 6% off the high. But a lot of can slim names came down. Now, again, the no earnings names are down 40, 50%. The high quality liquid earnings names have come down 15 to 25%, which is not outrageous. And not only that, my buddy at Josh Darwin 6 or 8, I'm not sure, fires this off to me and it says Rople 50-day leaders, which is relative strength 88 and higher with 100 million average daily volume. 39.3% have broken the 50. And there are some notable names: Palantir, Intel, Robinhood, APP, Taiwan Semi, and then it gets into the crap. Oklo, IREN, uh, there's as you go down, the quality of these names really deteriorates. Now, if you look, 4.5% of the names that broke recovered the 50. Avago, VRT, MDB, ALNY, Lyft, NRG, Halo, and GFI. The big number. This is the showstopper. 56, I'm dyslexic, in case you didn't know, and ADD too. 56.2% of names never broke the 50. And it's AMD, Google, Microsoft, MU, SanDisk, AMAT, critical upside reversal. Everyone's got to look at AMAT. And it's not the monster market cap, but it is integral to semiconductor equipment. The point is, 56.2% didn't never broke the 50. And not only that, 34% of names never broke the 21 day. So this begs the question, do we need a follow through day now to reestablish a new uptrend? And I would say it's ragged edge, but no. If we don't get a follow through day and the market trends up and the VIX breaks 17, I don't think we need a follow. It's not, it feels bad. It feels anytime you give back profits, you're like, oh, yacht, third home or second home or bigger home or whatever the hell you're doing this for. You might have flushed half of it out the window and you're like, ah. But one a super smart person who's on this video and has blonde hair and blue eyes said, Dad, what if you just didn't give anything back, but you were up as much as you were? How would you feel? And I'm like, banner year. But because we gave back, we feel terrible. And this is the mental game. This is the head game. And this is really critical. Experience and continued education with good mental psychology is an unstoppable combination. There is no stopping anyone if you have experience, continued learning, and good mental game. If the year closed right here, I think everybody'd be like, well, you know, Druck averaged 30%. And we're all up still, even with this pullback, way more. So, like, if the year just closed right here and you didn't have the pullback, you'd be like, caviar, champagne, let's blow extra cash. But because we drew down, dagger, feels like crap. Everyone's like, I need a nap. I'm not sleeping. It's been a fantastic year. And again, the fear gauges Sarah just showed you. Fear is the killer of extremely talented people's success. The rest of the world has jumped out a freaking window. And I'm just telling you, the market is going to scare you out or wear you out before it takes off. And now I think we've got the validation. Okay. I'm not sure Superman, NVIDIA came to the rescue, but it's looking that way. If we can close Friday with NVIDIA north of 200 and the VIX bubble bursts, and we're going to go over the VIX, I think it's on like Donkey Kong because there's only 30 days left to trade. 30 days. And these guys want that bonus check so they can buy the G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip for their little kid. All right, biotech. I think it's going to be, yes, baby.
Someone asked me to ask you this at the beginning of everything, and I forgot. Is your buy window closed?
Yes.
It is. Okay, go ahead with your
I mean,
biotech.
when I say that, I might add 5% to something that just, let's just assume this thing holds by midday and then holds into the close and the VIX is coming down a ton, but it's not below 17, 18, I might add a little bit here and there. I may. I will definitely be unwinding hedges. And this is so important. I'm sorry. Knowing when to hedge is pretty basic. I mean, we've been going over this for 3 years. What I, after 40 years of experience, don't know is when to unwind the hedge. And that is part of the reason I've had a rough period. Look, somebody recently saw, I was in New York and I was speaking live. I was doing a TV thing with Allie. And afterwards, I came out in the hallway and all these people were talking to me. And they are all asking me questions. And the person I was with goes, God, that must be the biggest head rush in the world. And I just don't feel it at all. When you draw down like every big trader does, there's no traders, big monsters who don't draw down. That is humbling beyond any thong of people asking you questions. That does not register. I make mistakes every freaking day. Most orders that I put in are losers. I'm sorry, that's not true. Stock orders I do well, but option orders, I'm forcing the market and I fill, and then it's like I get out of the way and the spread opens up again, and I make a ton of mistakes, a ton. Anybody you ever see, you meet them, they've had like four martinis, and like, I'm the greatest stock trader ever. They're lying. They are lying. Nobody who has been in the market for the duration says things like that because they've been beaten to death. They've been pounded. How do you take a drawdown like we've just had and be arrogant? Like that is delulu. So anyway, I'm so far away from where the hell I was.
Wait,
Biotech. It is going to be the area. It's shaping up to be the area the market's moving to. And I am in love with Eli Lilly. Eli Lilly signed an agreement with NVIDIA. I think it's $100 billion agreement. They are deeply integrating. And look, forget what I think. Look at the stock. We're going to look at it in special number one list. Um, XBI, these tiny little no earnings growth names. I built my book back. I was cold caller, and I probably over 6 months or 9 months opened up maybe like 40 accounts, and I put every one of them in Centocor. And it was going before the FDA review committee for a drug called Centoxin, which cures septicemia. And I started buying it around 18. It goes up to like 45. The FDA review committee recommends the full approval. Stock rockets to 60 or 80. I can't remember. So I'm like, $18. I'm a king. All these accounts love me. And the full FDA panel declined the drug, declined to approve it. And it plunged to 6. I had a margin call personally. I blew up 6 months worth of hard work. The lesson, oh, where the heck is it? I put it in the Roper report last week. Where is it? I think it's right over there. Anyway, I have the cover of the USA Today says Centocor blows up on FDA decline. That is what all these biotechs are if they don't have FDA approval. They're laboratories. They don't have sales force. They don't have earnings. They have nothing. And if they don't come through with a drug, it's going to zero. And they're burning cash at an insane level. So again, I'm the safety guy. I should be up in the vicinity of 7% tonight, but I'm not. I'm up like half of that or maybe a little more. Yes, baby.
but how would you feel if it was the other way around and you didn't hedge and you were down 7 more% than you're already down? Like you would be
So
devastated.
I have a day bed in this kick-ass office, and I would be in there, head down. I'd be mentally on. Dude, I saved myself. I don't care. I just can't. I don't want to live like that. I don't want to feel like I felt for the last 5 days with a turbocharger on it today. I wouldn't, I would. So when I used to come home from the office back, whatever, and I'd have bad days, the captain would say to me, unfit for public consumption, 3 miles on the treadmill before dinner, or you can't talk to us. I don't want to live like that anymore. So I do take the more conservative path, but I'm still, dude, how many people are up over 30% this year? I know some professional managers that are down for the year. There's been a lot. If you weren't laser into the leaders, you're having a crummy year. So anyway, biotech. I love it. I think it's going to be this one of the big sectors next year. INCY, my favorite. I hope you guys all saw EXAS, better known as crap in a box, in the Roper report last weekend. It exploded up today. Um, NVIDIA, I wrote coming into these are notes from a day or two ago. NVIDIA, chop on low volume. It was barely breaking the 50. It wouldn't crack. So it kind of was I think it was trying to tell me that it was going to be okay, but I couldn't stand the exponential downside. So I hedged 50 days in bull markets. When the market comes down to it, usually hold 9 out of 10. And that's where we are. They do until they don't. And so I am going to take those odds 7, 8, 9 out of 10 times. Those are unbelievably phenomenal odds. It's definitely worth. Now, again, pulling down to the 50-day with the VIX going up is a no-go zone. The VIX has got to burst. You have to have support before you can get involved. Um, Again, the sentiment was screaming at me. I mean, that is Bear City. You rarely get numbers like that. Um, Almost all new buys in the last 10 days have not worked. The leaders really took a pounding down to the 50-day and just below in many cases. And I've said it 100 times. If you can't take your name or all your names coming down to the 50 at once, you need to trim, hedge, or sell. The leaders have been crushed. I was writing more caution, can't make money. Uh, The dual Friday upside reversals kind of hosed me because the first one, which was on 11/7, was really convincing. Below the 50, back up, volume spiked. I rated that a B plus. But the upside reversal on 11/14 last Friday, I rated it a C minus because it did not have the volume. So I was really, I tried to reverse positions. I was on IBD Live. I forgot what day it was this week, I believe. And I
Tuesday.
was, what baby?
Like Monday or Tuesday.
I can't remember, but I'll do remember this. I forgot I was on, and I'm laying there in my pajamas, and up pops the thing, you're on in 30 minutes. And I'm like texting Arusha and Justin. I'm like, am I really on? So anyway, um, I wrote the indexes are only down 4%, but Can Slim is down 20, 15, 20 to 30, in some cases 40%. Because of that, rebasing is necessary. Do not be in a massive urge to charge into this market tomorrow. If the VIX comes down and we're going to rally into Christmas, there'll be plenty of time to get involved. I don't want people to get overloaded in the short pull only to have this thing crack below the 50 again. We are not out of the woods yet. I'm playing it conservatively. December Fed cut has become uncertain. The odds are like 50-50. Um, I've noticed that INCY has been extremely resilient, and it was first green on my screen on the day of 11/18. I've also noticed that BE, I wrote here, what is leading the market down? Like all those crappy quantum names and hymns and all that stuff that I just loathe and detest. The Grinch, I loathe, hate, and detest entirely. What's leading the market down versus resisting the down move? So it's really important. The NASDAQ also got to C minus accumulation distribution. Lots of reasons for caution, but we already knew that by the way these things were coming down. I had the market temperature in last Sunday's roll report. I think it's 7. And I had it there because we'd come down to the 50. And I'm like, a lot of the excess has been wrung out. And I kind of was like looking forward. I really should have had it lower. That's my fault. I should have explained that to you. Um, well, what do we do here? Screening for relative leaning tonight. Every single person must screen for leading RS. What has an RS like this? Well, the market's going like that. That is likely to be the names that are going to rip. Um, do not fight the trend. I remember when I was really young and I was trading and we'd get into a bear market and I was still trading like it was a bull market. Although I don't think we're anywhere near a bear market, I still have to not fight the short-term trend. Okay. In other words, stop trying to buy breakouts like Figment, uh, in the bad downtrend. When I have the buy window closed, I have to have the discipline to acknowledge that and not chase all the flashy earrings in the bar. Um, Live to fight another day. The trifecta: Nvidia, Palantir, and Tesla failed. They failed. They are not toast, although Palantir's been acting mushy and Tesla acting outright bad. Um, Again, I cannot get over the sentiment that if there was any clue we were going to bounce, and I'm not positive we're going to bounce. It looks great right now. We'll see where we close tomorrow, and we'll see where we close Friday, and we'll see what the VIX does. Again, this was a max fear moment. I'm starting to really warm up to Valero, VLO. Energy is really, really, really compressed on volatility. There's a very long base there. I like VLO best. The Latin American, ILF, looks fantastic. Solar Energy, FSLR, looks fantastic. I think that um, AMAT, critical stock to be watching. Uh, oh man, I think I've just about exhausted this, babe. Should we flip over to some charts?
Yes, and you're gonna remember to tell or to say the name of each
Symbol. I will
symbol, yeah, before you
do
go
my
over.
best,
Wait,
babe.
I have a question. So you always say that when the market's doing nothing, you sleep great, and when it's doing a lot, you sleep like crap because you're too excited.
Yeah.
Are you gonna sleep like crap tonight, or are you gonna sleep okay?
This is an ambient night.
An ambient night.
Ambient night.
We have Mother Teresa days, we have ambient nights.
Nights. There's not been a lot of um okay, so what are we looking at here? Okay, so here's we'll send this to you. We'll send you all the volume gainers up, down, total. So I'm gonna close that. Um I don't know why I'm looking at GEV. Okay, EXAS. This is no bueno.
Wanda's slow.
Baby, I'm gonna pause. I might have to reboot it.
Okay.
Oh no, bingo.
All right.
So today I have no idea what the news was. I did not like really overly go over this in the Roper report, but I did put it in there. It's not exactly a biotech, it's a diagnostic company. It was up 23.68% on a 686% volume increase. Now, don't think you missed it. Okay. It's just starting a new move. It's likely to run to 100, 101 handle. And if you didn't get it today, chill. This looks really, 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 really good. Look at the wall of blue, 1.5 up to down volume, number three group, but it's mischaracterized. It's diagnostics, not biotech.
Did you move our faces?
I did.
Okay, cool.
Alphabet,
Google.
yes, Google, just sticking straight up in the air while the market's acting crummy. Major signal. This is where the RS comes in. Light. Okay, I have to admit, I let everybody down. I did not cover one fiber optic name in the last, I mean, I put a few of them in there, but I
Did you
just
say
missed it.
light? Did you say light?
I did light. No, I didn't. Sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead.
This thing is just, it's unstoppable. It's kind of like a person who's got experience with continued learning and a good mental game. Uh, I think if you had it and you were smart enough to get it right here, and you might add it a little bit right there, like I would add a little bit, like 3, 4, 5% right there, I would add another 3, 4, 5 here. If this thing, look at this RS line. Okay, it's screaming at us. Now, this list I'm showing you is by volume. Like I said, healthcare is the rising sector. Look at how tight this has been over the last 5, 6 days. Well, the market's been crummy. Love this. I think if you want a broad spectrum, not antibiotic, you want a broad spectrum exposure, here's the ticket. GEV is a choppy, choppy double bottom, only 12% below the 50. Now, if I had this, I would have shaken out for sure. I would have probably trimmed some right there, and I might have bumped all of it out right there. This name may be born again. I'm not sure, but it is up today on a crummy day, maybe looking ahead net. This was what I was talking about. New buys in the last 10 days, trading days, have not worked. This was a clear failure. On this down day, I would have done nothing. This day, I might have trimmed 10, 15, 20, 30%. I would have held. I might have tried and bought a little bit back here. I would have dumped, breaking the pivot and the 50. I'm out. All I might have waited a little bit to here. This is nobody should have anything in here if this is your entry. But I don't necessarily think it's toast. If the market isn't in an uptrend on the short term, certainly intermediate term, breakouts are not going to work. INCY down today, no big deal. This is likely to be semi-liquid TML biotech with a phenomenal drug for graft versus host. SanDisk, astounding that it never even sniffed the 21 day, down 13% off the high. Uh, I always want to see greater digestion. Don't know if we're going to get it. If this market holds up, I would love to see 5, 6, 7 weeks of sideways. I just don't see this thing's a basketball underwater. I hope you all have it at 50, which I don't. My associate Eve does. She's smarter than me. Amazon, kind of a new pillar of the market, failed. Upside reversal today, only 13% off the high. Let's see what it does, but this is also a pretty big negative. Uh, Nvidia closed the day smack on the 50-day after hours, trading up at 194.37. I'm not sure I didn't even listen to the conference call, but I think we need to get this thing over 200 I mean, again, this upside reversal on the Friday and then the following day, that to me got me to unwind a lot of my hedges, which killed me as we immediately faded thereafter. Um, there's never been a stock like this in history, ever. It's absurd. 183 million average daily dollar volume, 99 comp with 50% forward numbers is sick. It's wacko. It's one of a kind. Love this name. I've been holding it in my hedge fund for about 2 years in size. I've held it personally for many, many years. Shop broken too badly for me. Could not have stayed with it. Although it's only 19% off the highs, you get down 23% off the highs. I used to say 20, 23 is too much. ISRG, medical device. Love this sector. Love this name. Three, stability. The Da Vinci machine is a revolution. It's not new, but 98 comp name. I am all about this. I love the limited give back here. This is absolutely a name that more conservative people can get involved in, like VRT. I love this digestion. The group is not in gear, but this is beautiful, beautiful action. This is exactly what you want to see. A gap up, a tiny bit higher, and then tight, 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 like Tuco, and then it rips. Now it's digesting. I think I can bless getting involved in this name, especially into new highs. Only 8% off the highs, above the 50 on today's close.
Wait, say
Held up like
Avago.
Avago, held up like a champ. Pillar of society. Lilly, nothing like it. It is the mega cap powerhouse. Group strength now to 23 from 175 9 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago. This is a total shift. It's a tectonic shift in the market. I mean, look at this thing. It's a wicked beast. Do not feel, I would not buy it sticking straight up in the air. Wait for a digestion. But the 2.0 up to down volume in a $1 trillion market cap is insane. And it's not just Ozempic. It's not just weight loss drugs. It is the integration of AI in drug discovery that is changing. It's shifting sands in the world. And I want to turn this thing off and just talk for a second. I'm just going to talk with this up. The implementation of AI,
Wait,
robotaxis, possible humanoid robots, the world in 5 years is going to look nothing like we are living in the world today.
wait,
This
yeah.
is, yes, baby.
Do you want your screen shared right now?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
you
going
do.
to
Okay.
stop talking about this and go on to the charts.
Okay, go on, go on. Okay.
I don't love the way ANLY is wedging up. I don't know how I'd want it to recover from this decline, but I'm gonna need to see some tight action up here. Okay. It didn't really come raging out right here, and it pulled back with the general market. Biotech, by the way, in general, has been defying the whole pullback. This name needs a little work, but I think it can lead. It just needs to show us some improvement. BE, upside reversal. I just thought that was a great opportunity, and I unwound hedges there. I put a lot back on today. I bear call spreaded it, bear put spreaded it, and no, I didn't. I just sold in the money calls on some of the position. I never bear spreaded it. Um, Look, It's held the 50 day. It's 26% off the high. It never broke the 50. Sometimes honoring a rule is really tough on your emotions when you're drawing down hard-earned profits. And, stocks, they don't take the escalator up. They take the staircase up slowly and they take the elevator straight down. Uh, I think this name has really shown me many days of resistance to the downtrend. Uh, it acted well to me. I think we want to see it get over this high right there. I'd have a lot more confidence in it. But I think the energy story is just it's irreplaceable. You may have problems with connectivity and uh, materials for the AI build out, but I don't think it's going to be the energy is. Look, I think the world is scouring the world. The people are scouring the world for energy. Number five group. I love this name, and I'm going to tell you something. They go way, way higher than anybody thinks. They go longer than people think. So I'm bullish. ANET. I almost need to stop covering it. This break of the 50 was so violent. It was an automatic sell on that right there. Ah, I don't know why this thing shows up so much better on my other chart. The format is just way better, but it is a clear breakout amongst a group of stocks that are really not acting well. But that's impressive to me. Another biotech. Again, I've had a rough history with this thing, but the wind is in this group's sails. It is profitable. It is medical. It's not a pure biotech, but keep your eyes on this. SoFi, 18% off the high, did break the 50. I would probably maybe trim 10, 15% on this day, even though it closed up. The next day, volume came in lower. I would not be out of this name. Regaining the 50 day. And again, this whippy action is not what I really want to see. I want to see it tighten up. Let's see how it recovers. But I can very armchair quarterbacking. I would say that you'd have to have sold and trimmed some for sure, but I think you would have held some for sure. Maybe you'd be in half your position. AMD broke the 21 day, down 16%, never even sniffed the 50 day. I love the clear pivot developing up here, and I would just hold. Palantir acting poorly. It just could not get its sea legs. It's too far below the 50. Um, I have been on and off hedged on this thing. I did, because of the poor action, I bear put spreaded it and sold in the money calls today. This is going to be a name where there's going to be institutional short covering tomorrow and possibly into next week. The big players, I operate, I'm not a big player, I'm a medium player. I operate like a dimmer switch. I will not cover this thing like in one block trade in the morning. I will kind of like when you have a breakaway gap where the stock's up 20, 30% in the day. I'll do a little bit in pre-market. I'll do a little bit 30 minutes into trading. I'll do a little bit at noon. I'll do a little bit on the close, but I will not unhedge completely until Friday's close. And I might not even do it then. We'll have to see how the market reacts. Gold, when this popped right here, I was like, ooh, bad. And again, gold doesn't move like a high octane equity. 20% pullbacks is real. Look at this is an 8% pullback, 11% pullback, 5% pullback, 9%. 20% is a character change, but it came back rather quickly. And the pullback over 4 or 5 days ago was on lower volume over 80 and GDX is back in gear. And I would not expect it to just take off and go, go, go. I would expect it to run to 85 and then put a better handle on. And then if it comes out, this sector is like live. Teva. Now they're shifting from generics to more branded drugs. This name looks really, really good to me. It needs a better diet or pivot. VRT. Look at this. Closes on the 50, upside reversal the next day, down, breaks it, closes really, really tight. This name is in good hands. It's holding the 50, 15% off the highs. I love this name. If we get the VIX to come down, I would start building here for conservative investors. I mean, most people will never be in a stock like this in their whole life. 99, 98 comp, massive growth. Look at this. 49% return on equity. Are you kidding me? I love this name. Tesla, ragged. I blew it all out. It failed to get traction up here. They missed earnings, but then the pay package came and it just melted. I felt like I didn't have a big cushion in it. And I suspect a new pivot, the real pivot, will materialize over these highs. So I took a lot of risk off the table, and we'll see how it recovers. If this, if one in three houses is going to have a humanoid robot in it in 5 years, this stock is going to be wacko higher. There's tons of time. I don't feel rushed. Slow and determined is one of my really. I was interviewed with the president of a bank, Northern Trust, and I won't tell you what he said because it was really vulgar. But he said, around here, we're slow and determined. And that's how I like to approach things. Although, hypocrite, you have to know when to be impulsive and flip the switch. This is high octane, triple levered long biotech. It is for trading only, and I'll show you why. This is, it was at 4,000, 4,700. This is a derivative ETF, and it is in deterioration at all times. So you cannot hold, it's not like, oh, I mean, look at this thing. All right. But all of a sudden on the daily, it's in gear. It looks just like XBI, but it's triple X levered from 30. It went from the lows at 32 up to 140. This is a cowboy position, and do with it what you may, what you wish, but be knowledgeable that it is a deteriorating asset. Credo. I just love the name so much. I just went hedged. I just sold in the money calls. A little bit of cowboy in me today. I declined to throw a bear put spread on it today. I went in this thing a lot longer than I should have. Forces Force was with me so far. We'll see what happens tomorrow, but I will slowly unwind it. But I'm really not going to do anything until it gets over the 50-day. Does it gap above it tomorrow? I don't know, but I will not cover this whole short position until it meaningfully recovers. And it, even on Friday, I don't care if this thing comes all the way up here. I will not remove the whole hedge until I am convinced that the cavalry has come and killed all the Indians. Apple. It's going to be again. There's a lot of damage in Mag 7, but this is such a monster in there. Now Nvidia is likely in gear with Google. I really don't care what Netflix does and a couple of these others. It's going to be really difficult for QQQ to get murdered with Apple and gear. It's just such a monster market cap. Um, if I'm going to hedge against an index, I'm going to short ARK. Hood. Just I wrote it was like 13% below the 50. Just way too much. Way too much. I am imperfect. I'm a flawed human in many respects. I was too slow. I did attempt a little nibble over 150. When it closed below it, I blew it out immediately and I carried the position down, the whole thing. And I on and off hedged around in here. And I am hedged largely. I do have bear put spreads and short calls on this thing. VST. I like that it, again, I could never hold a stock. It's just like a wet noodle. It's lethargic. It's like stuck in the mud, but it is not toast. Again, until it's above the 50-day, it's unactionable. but a lot of these names pulled back. They're not blowing up like a Roblox or some of those other things. First Solar, I think this is you've got 2 weeks tight here. I don't like it that it's low. This thing clears this high. And again, number four group, this is a far more engaged and in gear. 54% estimates next year, 97 comp, skyscrapers of blue, earnings line pointing up. Um, I think that energy is a must. Everyone's got to own an energy position. And I know First Solar's not BE, but I still think there's room for it in the portfolio. Look, the world, there's all this talk about OWL and BN and off balance sheet financing, and there's problems and credit and bull crap. The JP Morgan is not 5% off the highs if we're about to have some type of systemic disaster. HYG is junk. And I just want to say that, look, Owl credit or whatever the heck it is, they can go to zero. It's OWL. Look, this stock is a $9 billion market cap. Maybe they got astray. The risk management, they lost a good risk management. This company can go to zero. As long as HYG is not, if the credit spreads aren't blowing up, I'm not going to sweat it. I'm not, ooh, I'm trying to move through. Okay, WDC down to the 21 day while the rest of the market's coming unglued. This thing is strong, is can be. I don't love it here. I can't. 21 day MAs are too nebulous. They're too flimsy for me to build a position on. Cowboys go for it, but not me. Leading stock number two group. CRS. I love the way this acts. I will admit I did take a little position in one of my accounts, personal, not in my fund. It's a little too illiquid for me, but this thing acts really well. And I think that they are not a defense contractor. They're a defense material, kind of like an MP, and it acts beautifully. 5% off the high, above the 21 day. I'm sniffing qual or big action here. IBM, more of a bellwether, holding the 50. Let's see if it can get back over 320 and how fast, if it at all. GLD looks just like GDX, a little more lethargic. Miners lead gold. AU, look at this thing, ripping into new highs. This is the basketball. It couldn't even wait. It just the basketball sprung up. Really, look at the RS line. Amazing. 99 comp, monster numbers, 28% pre-tax, 19% ROE, number eight sector, 1.4 per down volume, go-to name. GLW at 11% off the high. Breaking the 50-day alone is not the end of the world. It's 11% off the high. I cannot get too crazy in fear. Again, I wrote, fear is the killer of talented traders. Intel on the 50-day, these big monsters, I mean, again, it's confusing because we have a couple $4 trillion market caps in the world. 160 billion market cap is a big cap. That's a small mega cap name, and it's critical. The Trump administration is trying to make America number one in crypto, number one in semiconductors, and they are not going to let the Chinese beat us. And they're backstopping Intel. And I know it's not laissez-faire, total free market. Um, I think there are minor instances when the government has to step in to augment and help the free market and from what's in the better interest of America. KGC, I've loved this name for everybody knows. I love this name and actionable, 100% actionable over 26, say 65-ish. Love it. STX, Seagate. Okay, STX used to be the symbol of storage technology. So I know you guys have written in kind of telling me, hey, you're getting the symbol wrong. It's because I'm 40 years in the market and that used to be storage tech's name or symbol. Anyway, this thing I said was even actionable right in here. On the 21 day, just as strong as it could be. And note the volume dried up the last 3 days as it sat there. That's exactly what you want to see. Alibaba. Ugh, I don't think I would have stayed. I could not have held through this, but let's see what it does going back through. Sectors, roll report indexes. Baby, have I been talking way too long already?
I mean, you have been chatting for a while, but I think you're fine.
I'll rip through it. We've had a healthy internal pullback. They happen in bull markets. I also strongly, strongly believe that we are going to have many rolling cycles of new sectors over the next 20 years. The first names that came out will have their time in the sun for a year or two. We'll have a pause, probably a lot worse than the pause we've had now. And the next time they come out, it'll be another sector of the AI build out. Transportation, not a train wreck. Not great, no train wreck, just basing. Okay, look at the volume drying up here. You have the explosion up on the election, doesn't give a lot back, and volume just drying up. And again, I love Milei. He is the Ronald Reagan of the world today. He's even a greater president than Trump. He is, dude, what's happening in Argentina could change the world. Dictators, you are on notice. Free markets work, and stealing shit from your people, you should be jailed. And if this thing comes out, I'm bullish, bullish. Guys, we're only 5% off highs, like 1 or 2% below the 50. And yet 91% of the public has gone mad and lost their mind and they're living in fear. Now, I don't think that in after hours, the futures are above the 50-day. We will not be out of the woods until we definitively are above the 50. And I don't mean a point above the 50. I mean, we really need to get over these highs right here. Or that's on QQQ, whatever that equates to. Break the downtrend. That's helpful. Maybe add 10% on that. But on QQQ, we need to exceed whatever the heck that high is right there. Trying to give you the 625. IBB, look, this is the sector. I think it's going to be the sector next year. Large cap China, 6% off the high, no big deal. HYG credit spread, fine. The rest of the world faring better than the US right now, probably because of the fear of the December rate cut. I don't know why, but it is. European banks, 5% off the highs. There's no problem in the world. Okay, this is a sign of strength. Mexico getting its act together. I was big on this back over here a year or two ago. It has now risen again. I like this. I like ILF better. Taiwan, we can skip it. Ragged, too far below the 50-day. 7% off the highs, no big deal, but this is just way too far below the 50 for me. Broker dealer, 5% off the high. That's just no problem whatsoever. This is really, really, really bad. And part of the reason Mondami was elected in New York, people cannot afford housing. This is just, we need more supply. And this is not good for the general economy. I think this is largely why the retail restaurant stocks, where the middle class and lower income people eat, are suffering. JP Morgan, same thing. We talked about that. So this got down to like negative 700, which is, it's good. It's not awesome. This is one of the most oversold levels I've seen in years and years. So we can launch from here. The put to call did get up. This isn't the put to call you see in the SIBO, but it's up at very elevated levels. Combined with the level of fear, tells me we can run like crazy if we get a little power. I didn't like that the market intraday slammed into the 50 and could not hold high. It was rejected there. We've definitively got to get above that uh, before. And by the way, I know when I did the special report, I said it's not unthinkable we can come down to 22 200. We didn't quite get there. Um, I mean, and I thought that was probably a worst case scenario, by the way. This number one, above the 50. Number two, over these highs right here, which is at approximately 2364. We need to clear through there. And the VIX bursting. Mag 7, 1% below the 50-day, even with the damage in Netflix. S&P, we got to get back above the 50. Discretionary, astounding that it is holding so well. Consumer staples, people are by far, they're not running for Hershey bars and toilet paper and tobacco and beer. This thing's in a nosedive. That is not a sign of, it's the opposite of fear. Dow, 4% off the high, marginally below the 50-day. Let's get back above it, get in gear. We'll see. Okay, X, I looked at that already. I love it, love it, love it. Mid cap, just a monster cup and handle. Look at that. And a little, I think what we're going through right now is a shakeout. I do believe we are coming out of this. If we don't come out by Christmas, early next year, boom, XBI. Everybody in one way or another, you need a position in biotech. If you don't want to take single stack risk, this is your go-to. Again, I would love it if somebody out there could tell me how the hell we have 7.1 days and 10 million a day average daily volume short. I don't get it, but this thing's totally in gear, and I think this is a ticket to make money right now. 1.8 up to down volume in an ETF is really bullish. Note it didn't flinch in the pullback. Little crypto action, babe.
Sounds good to me.
What were you like texting or something?
No, I was sneezing.
Okay, I'm gonna share. I know I'm taking a long time tonight. I think people need it because we had look at this
No
thing.
one complains about you taking a long time except for you. You're the only one.
I couldn't sit through anybody talking for 2 hours. There's just no
Yep.
way.
But you have ADHD, like you mentioned at the beginning of this. Go ahead.
I had a guy who hired me to run his money. He goes, "Your ADD is so bad you can't focus on anything but one thing at a time." And he wrote me the check. That's what he told me. This was a zillion years ago. Um, okay, this thing looked like it was bursting, and then it went right back up, and it did it here. When we had this burst right there, this is exactly what I want to see. I want to see the VIX run up and then pop and go below the daily low. I thought this was a really good signal. Did not. We continued to go higher. That's kind of why I say I want to get below 17. We are at bursting, breaking below 17 is going to be a signal we're going into calmer waters. I will be very happy if we get below this low. And I don't mean mid-morning. I want to see it below there on the close of business tomorrow, the close of business Friday, and midweek next week. Don't be shocked if we rally strongly and then the bears come back. I'm telling you not to go all in the near future. Gold, I talked about, I love it. Oil breaking down a little bit. It's in this downtrend. I don't understand why VLO is acting so well, and MCP, Marathon Petroleum, as well, is acting good. We'll go right to the big deal. Crypto is short term, intermediate term downtrend. Uh, but Bitcoin, look at that thing. It's at the dead bottom of its channel. I am not losing my mind. There should be no short term or intermediate term investors in Bitcoin or any, almost hardly any crypto. I would be out of. But I am a, how do I say this? Until it breaks this channel, I might be too bullish, but it hasn't broken the channel. I am not losing my mind
But like, what would you even do?
right
Like,
now.
no, like if it keeps going down, like
I
I
would,
would do,
get rid of all of my intermediate term holdings, and I would hold I'm hodling from 7, 8 years ago. I'm not going to dislodge those
I
coins. I'm
know
just
that's
not.
my point. I'm like, even if it goes down a lot more, I don't feel like you're gonna sell anything. So I'm like, not that it
No.
doesn't matter, but I don't think you're gonna do anything.
Stable coin market. We have had a little digestion with the cooling in the whole market, but this is adoption. Like, honestly, I don't want to overstate it, but I would almost say like the world's never seen. Solana, ragged, intermediate term, no-go zone. ICP, throw tomatoes. I deserve it. But my inside guy on ICP sent me a video tonight. I will watch it and hopefully post it in the Ropel report. I love Hyperliquid. I love Binance. I just think the whole sector is uninvestable on a short-term basis here. Babe, I sucked all the air out of the room.
You do that every week.
I know. I'm so happy. I love doing this. It rocks my world. I love doing it with you. I love talking to people. Um, I love trying to teach. So anyway, please remember, always follow your rules, sell when you have to. I failed in some instances to aggressively hedge below the 50-day, and it cost me dearly. I am imperfect. I make a lot of mistakes, but I'll tell you this, over 40 years, well, the first 10 years, I was a mess. I mean, I don't even remember if I was making money or not, but once I figured out my risk management, improved my selection criteria, I always went on to all-time new highs, always, and deeply into it. Anybody who can get out of a market within 20% of your high watermark, you were doing amazing. Amazing. It's to be concentrated in elite high octane leaders on margin and get out of completely 20% from the high, you are doing a monster phenomenal job and you are on your way to getting crazy rich. The killer of great minds is fear. There's a lot of people who can find the great variables, the TML, but they get scared. They do their research, they go to the store, they drive the car, they eat the candy, they use the bottling machine, they use the product. Now they know, they see it flying out the store doors. They can, and they got it's got the 99 comp, 99 ERS name. They buy it at the perfect pivot, and then they lose faith in themselves and they lose confidence. And the first wiggle jiggle, they bail on it. Or they think it's a fluke and it's up 15, 20%, and they sell it and it goes up 2,000%. Have confidence in yourself, keep learning, build experience. Education without experience is really thin stuff. But if you get those things together, you will be unstoppable and on your way to leveling up to the next station. I love first class to private jet. If this guy could do it, anybody can do it. Let's go to part two. Baby, what do you want to say?
I want to say absolutely nothing. I want to go to part two.
Okay, Goose, I'm shutting this thing off. Golden
Okay. Okay, bye.